welcome to Sit and Knit for a Bit. I'm your host, Melissa. You can find me on Ravelry at Aurora Evermore. I'm coming to you from, I'm assuming hot Texas. I've been trying not to go outside. I just came back from vacation, which you probably can tell from my wonderful blotchy tan and reverse raccoon eyes on my face from my sunglasses. And it is a lot hotter here than it was where I was, and so I've been avoiding outside. Granted, I just came back yesterday, so I haven't had much time to go outside, but yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid that. Alright, so I have a lot to talk to you about. I have some finished objects, I've got lots of whips, including the whips that I was working on during my trip, and so on and so forth. So let's get into it. By the way, this is my second take. My phone was ringing and I was stressing out. My parents are driving back today and I was stressing out that it was my parents. So I put my phone on silent because it wasn't my parents, and I said, well, hopefully it's not my parents next time, but at least I won't be stressing about it. Alright, my finished object today are these wonderful socks, and I should have grabbed the ball band while I was up. I don't even know if I have it. It was a Knit Crate yarn, so it's not even available anymore anyway. These are a pair of socks that about 6 years ago I started. Sorry, the lighting. I need to hold it on this side because it's casting a shadow on my face. The light. And anyway, about 6 years ago I had Knit Crate subscription, and some of this yarn came in. It's actually a sport weight yarn, so it's a little bit thicker of socks. I started knitting them back then and got distracted by another yarn probably and stopped knitting them, and they went into hibernation, unofficial hibernation, down there in those cubicles on the bottom shelf of the cubicles. And this spring when I went through them, I was like, the projects down there, and I was like, I need to finish these. So I stuck them in my car and I said, work on them in your car. And that's what I did. I got a lot of work done while I was traveling to and from school, mostly to school because I was getting stuck in traffic and was like sitting at red lights for like half an hour, like one red light for like half an hour. And so I just pull these out and knit a little bit, and oh, we're moving a little bit, put them down, move forward a little bit, pick them up, knit a little bit. And over time I finally did finish them. Woohoo! So let's be nice and warm, since they are the thicker, which I have some other ones that are thicker. I use them on the really, really cold days. So, ta-da! And you'll have to excuse my dogs in the background. They always decide that this is the best time to roughhouse. Okay. I tried to go in the same order as I did 5 minutes ago, as the car drives by. The other whip I have to show you is my Homestead cowl, which if you've seen my previous episodes, you should know a lot about it. It is the blue color fading cowl that I'm working on. It's actually my first cowl ever. The pattern was a kit, actually maybe the second kit I've ever bought. I cannot find it on Ravelry. It was like a lady selling them on Facebook or something like that, and I went to her website, or she was advertising on Facebook, went to her website and I ordered it years ago. I think I got a little bit of work done since the last time I showed you guys. So it's coming along. I think I'm on the second to the last color out of 5, so definitely over halfway done. I can't wait to block it, although I think it's always so big. And but I want to block it so you can see all the lace. You can't really see the lace very well. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Oh, that is in my Ravenclaw bag. Okay. The other whip I have are what I'm calling my Viking socks. You've seen these before, and in fact the last time. And I believe I got some work done. I think I worked on them when I was walking. I did like a 4-mile walk event with a friend of mine, and I think I worked on them then. I'm actually starting the rib of the cuff. This is Viking like fiber yarns, and their colorway Precious Metals. Precious Metals? Not sure purple is a metal color, but it kind of pooled right there because I don't do different heels and toes. This is the one that I had knitted the first sock a couple years ago. It was before I reduced my stitch count for my socks, and it was already like loose. My gauge was really off. I don't know, and so they ended up being really floppy. Well, the one ended up being really floppy, and I was also not enjoying the pooling. So when I was looking for some yarn for a new pair of socks, excuse me, I'm really tired from my trip. I was like, oh, I'll grab this one, you know, and undo that sock, and then I don't have to cake up anything. Although undoing a sock is almost just as much work. As you can see, I'm almost finished with the sock, and I still have what, 10-15 grams of this ball left. So that shows you how big this sock was compared to what it is now. Crazy. I obviously have more yarn. I have the rest of the cake in here. But yeah, and I'm also liking that the micro stripes. I kind of like that. So we'll get working on those. Those are just like what I said when I walk around socks. So I'm actually starting to feel, and I don't know if I've told you guys this, that I like have a lot of socks, and like how many more pairs of socks do I need? I know I do wear them in the winter, and I will wear them out, and my dogs chew on them every once in a while, and I don't fix them. I just throw them away and make new ones. But they're just so easy. There's not any other thing I'd want to work on that's an easy pick up and go project, at least not if it's just the beginning, you know, or something. So I end up making a lot of socks. This is being housed in my Mid Miller Designs bag with the window, the plastic window. And it's got a little carabiner because I hook it up to my hiking backpack and knit while I'm hiking, if I get to hike. Let me drink some water. Okay. The other thing I was working on before going on my trip was I got a little bit of work done on my Cozy Memory blanket. I was doing some studying, and because I finished some of the knitwear, I was like, oh, I've got yarn to work on the Cozy Memory blanket. So that like really big striped blanket I was working on that's just garter stitch, I was like, oh, that could go on the back burner. The Cozy Memory blanket comes first, mostly because I want to keep up with it, and I want that extra yarn after I'm done with that to go into the tin for next year's advent calendar. So, all right, I think I got 2 squares done, working on the 3rd since I last showed you this, which should be my Ugly Stripes socks, and then my Tank of Woe purple. So I got those 2 done. I do need to put a corner, I call it a corner, but really it's a triangle, to make it a flat side, because this is the side of it, like I did here, because I don't mind the spiky on the bottom or the top, but I want it smooth, you know, on the side. So I need to put a little square there. The other one I'm working on is just those pair of socks I just finished from Knit Crate. As you can see, I've cast on and did a couple rows of that one. So it's coming along. We all know it's going to take many, many years to work on, but I got really behind, and I mean this bag was full of yarn. Not stuffed full, but full of yarn that I need to add on to it, and I worked on that last spring in class, which I'm sure if you've watched my other episodes, you know all about it. Oh, sorry. what I'm saving the little balls, for the little triangles on the sides. And the purple for the Tank Whoa, I was like, you know what? I weighed it and I think it was like 10 grams, maybe 12 grams. And I was like, man, I don't know if that's going to be enough. But I have a whole nother cake, because I caked it up, of yarn. So if I need to borrow like a little bit of it to finish off a square, I will. And that will actually give me a good idea of how much yarn I need per square. And I finished it, and I think I ended up with like this tiny little ball of yarn left. I mean, like tiny. So apparently 10 grams is enough. And so I'm thinking at least this blue one right here. That one looks kind of big, although it's not really tight. I think it's going to be enough for a whole square. So I might want to, I think I'm just going to go ahead and make a whole square out of that. And if not, you know, if I don't quite finish, I'll just grab some other yarn that looks kind of close or something like that and just finish the little tip. So yeah. Who knows? I probably could make full squares out of all these, but I also want yarn for the little triangles on the sides. And most of these are actually this one at least are yarns from, they're the rejects from last year's advent calendar when I ordered somebody's scrap yarn. They were supposed to be 20 gram balls. Actually this is her sticker, and I did not use them. So I kind of like that I'm going to put them on the side, because they're not an actual leftovers from one of my projects, if that makes sense. Because most of these, all but one, are actual leftovers from a project. The only other one is a pink one that was at mini skein, and I stuck it in there. So anyway, I'll probably add that dark sparkly blue, because I do like that color, and it'd be nice to have a whole square of that in there. Okay. Alright, the last thing I worked on before leaving town is I think I'm calling it my Limey tank. It's that green tank top. Let's see if I can find the beginning, the front page. Oh yeah, it's the one I can't pronounce. I can't read. The free pattern on Ravelry. This one right here. Let's see if I can get this. Which you should know all about it if you watched my last episode. And I don't think I got a lot done since last talking to you, because the week or so before leaving, I just didn't feel like working on it. I tell you, I don't know. I have to be in the mood to work on this project. I don't absolutely hate it, but like the material, is really like slight is the word I want to use. It's very thin and loose, and so I don't know I just have to be in the mood to work on a project like that. I don't know. Oh, I did put a marker since the last time I saw you guys, so yay! We can at least see where I left off last time, which is right here. My little cat. So I actually did a lot since before going on the trip. I'm going to try to space this out a little bit. So it looks like I've gotten a few inches past, the armhole. I just done the armholes since last seeing you guys. So, yep, got a few inches done. Got a lot more to do, and that's fine. I will be working on it. I do want it finished. I am enjoying it. But yeah. And I think I'm still going to do the sleeves so I can wear it to work. Oh! And I tried the method, and I don't know. I think I did it the week before I left, so you haven't seen it. I took some store-bought socks, some like little shorties, and I cut off the toe and right before the heel, and I made the little, I don't know, yarn condoms, whatever you want to call them, the cake holders. And I just thought I'd give it a try before I actually bought some really pretty cute ones. And so far, I'm enjoying it. It's working out really well. Granted, I haven't used it that much for this project, but one of the my other project that I worked on during my trip, I did the same thing and had no problem with doing these little like sock things. I did try. I was afraid it was going to unravel, and it will eventually where I cut it. So I was like, well, maybe I'll hot glue it and fold it over. And so there's actually a little splotch of hot glue. And anyway, it wasn't working out very well. And if you don't mess with it, it doesn't really unravel. And so I'm just not going to mess with it. So just an idea. Not to tell people not to buy from the people that are actually making them, but if you're kind of on the fence of, do I want to get them, do I not, that's a good little try, to try. I'm sorry. So yes, I have done that. Put the pattern back in, because then I'll go to knit on it, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I don't have the pattern. I don't know what to do. Okay. Now, the projects I worked on during my trip. Yay! I did not work on my my backup project, which is a good thing. That means that the projects I brought, I enjoyed knitting on. So, not even going to show you that. I literally did not add a whole, like, not even a stitch to it. Didn't even pull it out of the suitcase. I think we'll do socks first. If you recall, I had made myself a little handle cover, and I used it the entire time I was there, and it is kind of gross. Hot, dusty, nastiness, so it's in the washing machine. And I actually got this as a freebie, and this is exactly what I was looking for, and I actually like the color. I love this bluish, teal color. And so we're going to put this on here for now. Ooh, gotta be careful of that Velcro, man. Actually, my Velcro is sticking to the Velcro. So I have this until the other one that I made is ready to go. So anyway, this is my walking bead bag. It served very well. It probably needs to be completely washed. I had no problems with it. It is a little bit bigger than my previous little box shaped one, but I didn't really notice any difference, and in fact it was probably nice to have that extra room in there. I actually didn't even take a purse with me. I usually walk around with a backpack and this, and so when I didn't have the backpack with me, I actually just put my wallet in this, and it worked out. Okay, so I finished an entire sock. Ta-da! Now granted, I did have the toe ready to go before leaving because I worked on it a lot while we were driving in the middle of the night, and then a lot while walking, and then I did the heel and everything like that while there. But I even started the second one. It got past where I was on that one, so technically I knit just over a sock while being there, while walking around there and in the car on the way up. I did not work on a lot of knitting on the way home. I was just so tired. So there's the little toe plus some of the second sock. It is the Volanvine yarn. I don't remember the name of the colorway, so I'll pull it out. Volanvine yarns. They're Blitz based, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to read upside down. Stellar Banshee is the colorway. And I'll show the socks again because I think I kind of did it too fast for you guys. Or sock. I call it like highlighter colors with on gray, and there is some stellina in there, so it is shiny. So yeah, pretty happy when I finished the first sock. So now I have two socks going. Okay, if there isn't one in the car already, I want to say there is, but I don't remember what it is. Like what color? I think I just chose another purple. I think I chose the purple and gray color called Frankenstein. A friend got me. I think that's what's in there. That was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I don't remember 2 weeks ago. But anyway, if I need a car project, I can take one of these. Oh, this is a freebie. It's this little keychain thing. Okay, I'm gonna pack all this back up. Okay. And then we'll get into the last whip, which is my favorite. I did take this and it worked out perfect with all the pockets, Kleenex, my phone, my wallet, all that stuff could go in these pockets. So, okay. Didn't get as far done as I was hoping, but I worked on, I worked on it pretty well. I was trying to be really careful of not pulling too tight. It is curling a little bit for the second yarn and pulling it a little tight, but as you can see, it's really stretchy, so I don't think I'll have a problem once I go to block it. I think it's just so gorgeous. I don't know how's it coming up to you guys. A little bleached out. It's more, it's like a popcorn butter with speckles. It's all wrinkled from being in my bag. I love it. The project, the pattern. I don't know where the pattern is. I don't know where I put the pattern. Oh, and I don't have my phone with me. I'm not prepared for this. This is the Eastgay number something. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I talk about it in my last video and I'll talk about it later. It's the Eastgay. It's like easy but with a KY. E-A-S-K-Y. Eastgay. The actual pattern, the picture is it's like a lime green, maybe a little bit more of a darker than lime green top that she's wearing. The Eastgay. E-A-S-K-Y. But anyway, so yes, I'm supposed to knit for like 13 inches, and I kind of worked on it. Like I said, I was going to a little bit. I got like ½ an inch done just to make sure I had the slip knit thing on each end down. Plus I wrote it on this little sheet of paper and taped it to the inside of my little bag here, just in case I needed to refer to it, which I did not. It was pretty easy to remember. But anyway, I worked on like ½ an inch before going. I was like, wow, this is really easy. What if I really knit a whole bunch and I actually get to like the neckline, and will I run out of yarn? Because I only brought 2 of the 3 balls I have. One's bigger than the other. That's supposed to happen. But I obviously did not. I actually didn't get as much knitting done as I wanted to. I just was really tired. And when I'm tired and worn out, it's not so much fun to knit. So it was coming and going. There was days I was like, all I want to do is knit. And there was days I just was sitting around getting a little bit of knitting done. I did, once again, the sock little holder things, working out pretty well. I think I actually like it better because as you saw in my socks, I put the yarn in a Ziploc, where this, I think it keeps it tighter, which should help with my gauge, because I think that's what was happening with my socks. The first sock was tighter, and then the second sock was looser, and I'm wondering if it's because when I'm pulling on the yarn, as there's less yarn here, it becomes less tension on the pulling, and so I was knitting looser. And so I'm hoping that doing this stops that from happening. which is funny because that pair of socks doesn't have it on there. Next pair of socks. So, ugh, the yarn. But yes, I enjoyed it. So far, easy pattern. I just have a long way to go. And I absolutely love this bag my friend gave me. I mean, it is my new favorite knitting bag. Okay. A little bit more of the yarn to talk about, or the knitting related stuff, and then I'll get into the non-related knitting related stuff. Just make sure I got everything. Yes. So, the last group, chapter, section is acquisitions. So, before I left, I went to one of my knitting meetings with my friends in about an hour away that I go to once a week. And one of the ladies there she brought like a huge trash bag of yarn. She's like, help yourself. Whatever you don't take, I will take to, I think she was taking it to like a shelter or Goodwill or something like that. So of course we all jumped on the yarn. I waited until everybody else was finished because I don't really technically need a lot of yarn. So I was like, well, I'll let everybody else pick first and then I'll jump in. So I ended up just getting some, 2 little hanks of yarn from her, so thank you. It's called Sulka Legato, S-U-L-K-A, second word L-E-G-A-T-O. A luxurious blend of fine merino, baby alpaca, and silk. So this is the front of the label. Sulka Legato green. And I'll show you the back, and then I'll show you the yarn. I got to show you the yarn first. I'm hoping it's focusing. It's a pretty soft yarn. I got 2 of them. That I would have gotten any that she had, and maybe made a sweater out of it. But she only had 2. But that's okay. I'll figure out something to work on it. It's green, but it has tones of brown in it, so it's nice and earthy. And I could definitely tell it has alpaca in it. So I'm looking forward to that. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I know it's going to be nice and warm. Maybe I could find, I doubt it, maybe I could find a top. I just don't think it's going to be enough, especially for my size. I'm trying to think. It doesn't say, they're 50 grams each. So about 100 grams. I might have to do some research on Ravelry, see if I can come up with a pattern. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. Yarn! The only other acquisition I have is not yarn, but it is knitting related. The yarn store I work at, every once in a while they have stuffed animals there. Every once in a while she has like actual like cute stuffed animals, baby alpacas. The one just above, I can't see because my glasses. That one with the blue bandana around its neck came from her store a couple years ago. And this year she had this little guy. Isn't he cute? Oh my goodness. And he's so soft. He is going to go up on the shelf, but I'm like, oh, I just want to pet him. He's so cute. I bought my mom one too because she likes alpacas. My mom. When I first told her, like, she started buying alpacas, like stuffed animals, not the actual creature, I wish. I was like, oh, I should get some too, because I'm a knitter. And she goes, what do alpacas and llamas have to do with knitting? And I'm like, we can make yarn from their coat, their fur, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just like, really, Mom? What do you mean? She doesn't know anything about knitting, so I had to educate her that you can use their fiber to make yarn. But he's so cute. I love him. So yes, he's gonna go up there somewhere in my little collection. One last thing about knitting. If you recall, I the store I work at on my vacation, I had made a bunch of washcloths for them, and I took them up there. I made 30 of them. My last day working was Saturday midday, so a day and a half earlier than closing, and they had maybe 12 left, 10 to 12 left, so about 20 were sold at least. So that's pretty good. I am quite happy. I am very happy. So she asked me to make some new ones for next year, and so I will get going on those. I need to find a container that's better for them. The little Tupperware I was putting in them, they don't quite fit, and they get wrinkled, and I actually block them, so I want them to stay, I want them to stay nice. And so I need to find a better container, since I'm going to be making them throughout the year or whichever. I'm going to try to take my time in making them. Last year, I was thinking I was going to have to ship them up to her, and so like last January or February, I kind of freaked out. I was like, oh my goodness, I got to get these done, and so I like stopped everything else and just worked on those like crazy, and which I didn't mind, but I would like to, wondering if I should make 30 again, or maybe I should just make 20 since we had 10 left over. I'll probably make 30, and then the following year, if we start having some stock left, I'll back it off. I thought about getting like actual tags on them, like my business. Although I don't. Yeah, get those business. I'll look into that. I have a logo and everything, and actually putting a tag on them, because we didn't do that, and they just put like handwritten stickers. Anyway, I'll make it a little bit like more legit. And I want to make a bunch of cute little airplane keychains, but I don't, like stuffies, I don't crochet, and crochet is better for that. I can't find any really cute airplane knitted little keychains or toys or something. So if you guys know of one, a pattern, I'll even pay for it. Send me, the link or whatever. Send me the information, because I would like to do that too and kind of surprise her. That'd be a lot of fun. Those would probably sell really fast. I know a couple of people that crochet, and I don't want to like ask them, but if they wanted to, I would, they'd get their money back. They would get their money's worth. That'd be cool. But anyway, okay. I think that's it for knitting. And I'm sorry, I'm really tired. Here I go yawning again. I'm trying to hide it. Oh my goodness. I should not be recording today. I should have waited, but I wanted to record and just get it done. It's been several weeks, and so I just wanted it done. So we're doing it. So anyway, that's the end of the knitting. So if you don't want to hear about my trip or my book review or whatever, you can sign off. Now, if you want to hear about the book review, I will do that next. So if you don't want to hear about anything else beyond that, you can sign off then. I can't tell you what to do. You can sign off right now if you want. I thought about making a funny pause face because you signed off Anyway, my book review today is going to be Winter of the World, which is the second book in the Century trilogy by Ken Follett. I'm going to try to go in order of these. So if you remember last time I podcasted, I talked about the Fall of Giants. I kept calling it the Fall of Giants trilogy. I still am going to call it the Fall of Giants trilogy, even though it's the Century trilogy. To me, they're interchangeable. Anyway, I talked about the first book, which really it follows along a bunch of stories, storylines of several people in the era of World War I. Now this book goes into it's like the next generation, so it is World War II. And what's surprising me is I absolutely love stories about World War II. And I actually like the first book better. And not that he did anything wrong writing it. It goes smoothly with the first book. But I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Not that it's boring, but I think it's just, by this point, it's a continuation. I don't know. And maybe there's just not enough, not that there's not enough. There's not a lot of, like, battle scenes. It's more of, like, the family's lives and stuff, the people's lives outside of it, if that makes sense. There is some. There obviously is. And maybe I was expecting, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a good book. Make sure you read the first one first and then read this one. And there is a third, which I will talk about next time. As I almost throw it at my face. I don't think my face can get any redder with the sunburn, so not blushing. But yes, he has done a great job with this trilogy. And once again, now that I'm talking about it, and I try not to talk too much about it because I don't want to give anything away, because I hate previews that give so much away. But it's good. You pretty much follow along with, like, the kids from the characters of the first book, because it's the next generation. Now it's their kids having to go through World War II, and the people that you knew in the first book are now, older, and it's nice. And some of the storylines really start crisscrossing, and it's good. They're so good. So that is my book review of, I wouldn't say today, because I do this about once a month. So of the month. All right, so let me get some water, and I will talk a little bit about my trip. Not too much, because we're not really here for that, so I don't want to bore you, but in case you are curious of how it went. Maybe I should knit while I'm talking. Should always be knitting. No, we don't. There's no pressure on knitting. Knit when you want to, what you want to. When you want to. As long as you're not sleeping at work or driving a car. Okay, my trip was good. I know it was a few weeks since my last podcast before the trip. I don't really remember those weeks I was packed and stuff. But I had a little bit of a flare-up medically. I think it happened before my last episode, so I might have talked about it then. And anyway, I was really hoping that my flare-up would have gone away before the trip, because it's a very physical trip, but of course it didn't quite do that. So I really struggled during the trip. Just pain and comfort, and I really need to do my nails. I've got a hangnail that keeps catching on the yarn. But besides that, I had a wonderful time. We didn't have any trouble. Oh, I just remember what happened. Oh my goodness. On the way up, I'm sorry. It's actually a cuticle that's cutting into. Anyway. Talk about scatterbrain. So, we didn't technically have any trouble going, there. Driving up, it's about a 16 to 18 hour drive. Except that we almost ran somebody over, and no fault of my brother, the driver. We were in Iowa at like 3 in the morning, which of course it's dark. It was hazy. And we were just going along, and all of a sudden we come across a guy with his back towards us, walking in the street, stumbling more like it, with his hand held raised in the air, with his thumb up for like hitchhiking, walking down our lane, not the side of the road, in our lane. And my brother swerved just in time to avoid him. I mean, he came out of nowhere. It was freaky. It was like a horror movie where like the ghost is standing in the middle of the street and you swerve to miss, but you end up crashing, and then the ghost comes after you. I mean, it was like almost like that. It was freaking crazy. It definitely woke us up at 3 in the morning. I wondered if anybody was like a few car lengths behind us, and if he didn't get out of the road, if they ended up hitting him. I don't know. Moral of the story is, people, even if you're drunk, high, whatever, don't walk in the middle of the highway. It's not safe, especially in the dark. Whether you want to hitchhike or not, don't do it. But other than that, the trip went great. We got there with decent time, set up camp, relaxed, saw all the things, saw all our friends and family, and well, mostly friends, I guess. But our friends are family. And just really enjoyed ourselves. Sorry, I got a new spinny thing. I don't want to see if it is spinning. Yay! Sorry. Easily distracted by stuff. I did some knitting. I did some reading. I was really in the mood to read, although it's not really easy to read there because it's rude because you always have some visitors coming by camp and you're talking or you're walking or whatever. But definitely had a good time. It was a good year. The weather was great. It was maybe a couple degrees warmer than if I could choose what temperature it would have been, but not horrible at all. Especially the days where the high was only like 77. It was amazing. And we usually get one bad storm, and we didn't. We got one tiny little rainstorm, and that was it. And it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning. And so yeah, it was great. I didn't want to come home. I did and I didn't. That's how it always is. And while unpacking and relaxing between unpacking, I'm sitting on the couch. I don't know if anybody else feels this way. I just feel weird. Like, I don't know how to get back to my normal life because it's just so different there. Living like that, living, camping and being there and what's happening and what's going on and what you need to do. And so then coming back home, you're just like, oh, I have a TV in front of me. Okay. Oh, I gotta, it's just different. I gotta go to the grocery store, a regular grocery store, and actually cook food. What? I've been eating out of a cooler for a week. Speaking of, I have absolutely no food in my house. But anyway, it was a good time. I hope that everybody else that went had a great time. And like I said, watching those washcloths get bought was really nice. It was nice knowing that people wanted. It brought up the subject of a lot of people that I knew for years were actually knitters themselves. Yeah, I started talking to them about the washcloths. I'm like, oh, you can rewash them, blah blah blah. And they're like, oh yeah, I know that's the cotton. I'm a knitter. I'm a crocheter. I'm like, wait, what? I thought I was the only one. but yeah. Oh. I got thinking about it, now I want to go back. But I had a good time. Okay, well, I think that's about it. I feel like I rushed, mostly because I'm tired and I keep yawning and I feel really bad because that's so unprofessional. Sorry. Oh, I got this new shirt. This is the hoarder one. I rescue yarn. Trapped in the yarn shop. I'm not a hoarder. I'm a hero. I thought that was cute. Reading upside down is hard to do, apparently. But yeah, I had to get that one because my dad's a hoarder. My mom's more of just a shopaholic, and she has a lot of stuff. She can get rid of it, so she's not technically a hoarder, but I tease her about it all the time. So I had to buy this shirt and show it off to her. Alright, I'm going to let you guys go because I'm sure you're sick of listening to me yak. And talk to you guys later. Bye!